It's mostly on the inside of my arm, but if at any point, if you see stuff there, I went to Sephora earlier, so enough said. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining, or just generally welcome. My last video, I told you not to subscribe, but for some reason there was a solid, 30 of you that decided you're committed to this mess, so thanks for that. Thanks for making me feel valid, because I am not. So if you know me in real life, or follow me on social media, or if you just generally know how to read a title of a video, you know that I do live every hormonal 12-year-old's dream. That's right, I work at Hot Topic. So obviously working in a store like that, I get asked tons of questions every day about just generally what it's like. And so I went to Instagram, I put out a poll, and I asked you guys what were some of your questions that you may have about my job. I encouraged you to be creative with it, but most questions were pretty general. There were a couple thinkers though, and a couple that may spark future videos. A quick disclaimer before I get into this, I discussed that I will not be talking about anything that has to do with what discounts I may receive, whether or not the company drug tests, because, you know, that may be a state-by-state thing. So anything that could potentially be risky towards my job, I'm not comfortable discussing. I love my job very much, I take it very seriously, and I worked so hard to get to where I am with the company, even though I'm still fairly low on the ladder. So first I'm going to discuss a couple of the general questions that I just get every day, mainly from customers, and then I'll look into the questions you guys sent me on Instagram. Questions on Instagram are generally anonymous. I chose to keep the anonymity that way in case any of you guys asked something silly, you wouldn't get embarrassed if I shouted you. So I'm going to be reading mainly from my phone. So the number one thing that I get every day is, it goes hand in hand, if we're hiring, and if so, how do I get a job at Hot Topic? And the best advice I have with that, there's no clear cut way to get a job with Hot Topic. We are a pop culture store, so you should be well versed in popular culture with music that's out right now. You should be familiar with popular bands, which I'm not always. I tend to stick to the same stuff I listened to in high school. But I do learn, you know, the saying is fake it till you make it. If I don't know a single thing about 21 Pilots, I'm going to listen to customers and my friends who listen to 21 Pilots, and then I'm just going to kind of pick up things from there. So at least I know enough about it, so if someone asks for something, I can provide that product instead of being totally clueless, because that's really embarrassing when someone comes in and they're like, hey, do you have this? A funny side story about that is there's a band you may be familiar called Why Don't We? Like a little boy group, I guess. And a young girl, she was probably about 10 or 11, and she came in and she's like, hey, do you have any Why Don't We? And I'm like, why don't we what? I think I lost her respect that day. So be well versed in pop culture. Looking the part isn't as much of an issue as what people think. People think that when you work at Hot Topic, you have to have colored hair or piercings or tattoos. There's no physical or visual requirement for getting the job. As long as you're qualified, I'm going to hire you. I'm not going to pick and choose. You don't have to be goth or emo to work at Hot Topic, basically. You can just be a regular person, and if I like you and think you'd be good for the job, then it's just going to work out. My main thing with getting a job with Hot Topic is, I know personally I'm going to be more liable to hire you if you have been a very good customer. Some of the best people I've hired were regular customers, and it works out because when you're a regular customer, you know how we act in the store, you know how we go about things, you know where everything is, and obviously you like the products we sell. So those people tend to be the most passionate about working for the store, so those are the first people that when they're looking for a job, I'm going to offer them an interview, tell them to put in an application, because you get to know your customers, especially if you're like me, you're there all the time. These are the same people that are coming in 2-3 times a week. So you get to know them pretty well and get to be a pretty good judge of their character. So I think the more you shop at your local store, the more likely you would be to get a job there. Unless you're just like a horrible customer or something. So what is your position? I am a assistant store manager, which is exactly what it sounds like. I help manage the store, make sure nothing catches on fire. There's no particular tasks I'm assigned. You have your store manager, and then you have your support team, which would consist of either 2 assistant managers and 1 key holder, or 1 assistant manager and 2 key holders, depending on your location. I am one of 2 assistant managers. I am technically part-time. I work a little more sometimes, but I just love being there, and I need money, so I'm fine with that. I get like good benefits and stuff, so it's definitely perfect. In particular, I'm really good with visuals because Hot Topic is a very visual store. Any Hot Topic you walk into, everything is in a particular place for a particular reason. The t-shirt walls are categorized a certain snake-like flow, starting with like video games into cartoons, into movies, into that. The Hall of Fame wall, which is the classic bands, that's organized in alphabetical order. The music wall, that's generally in the back of the store, that is organized by genre, or as the Hot Topic labeled genres that don't really make sense, but that's how the store categorizes them. So everything is in a place for a reason. And so I help a lot with making sure everything looks good and it's where it's supposed to be. I help go through applications. I do interviews. I do everything, really. I close a lot, so a lot of little paperworky things. But everybody kind of does everything. The sales associates, their job's easy. You basically just have to like do shipment and like help customers. So obviously as a manager, my workload's a little heavier, but I enjoy my job a lot. Okay, moving on to your question from Instagram. Let's start with this one, and it is best interaction with a customer. I can't think of any absolute best interaction. I feel like most of my customers, the ones I'm used to, are pretty great as long as everything runs smoothly. We're able to be civil, and maybe you're spending a lot of money and like you're not giving me a hard time about anything, then yeah, all those interactions are great. Or just people that are generally in a good mood, because you get a lot of people that they come in and it's literally my job to say, hey, how are you doing? You know, when you walk in, and people look at me like, why are you talking to me? So that makes things a little rocky starting off, but overall I feel like as long as you don't absolutely suck, it's going to be a good interaction. Someone else asked, who would win in a fight, 2007 Hot Topic or 2019 Hot Topic? And, you know, I feel like 2007 Hot Topic she looks scary and she talks a lot of big game, but 2019 Hot Topic has seen a lot of things. She's been around for a while, and she's a very well-rounded goth adult now, so I think she'd have the edge on 2007, as much as I love 2007. This next question says, how often do you have a family come in where you can visibly tell which kid chose the store? And I know that's kind of like a running gag, and there's a meme about it, like, guess the child that brought the family into Hot Topic, but these days where the store has expanded and grown so much, we kind of sell a little bit of everything. There's pretty much something for everybody in the store. So, I mean, sometimes you never know, because we'll have, like, these young teenage boys come in, and, you know, I think they're coming in for, like, a Lil Peep shirt, and it turns out Granny just wants a Metallica shirt. Like, you never know. So that's half of the fun, especially with my demographic. Like, the alternative scene isn't that big. Not a lot of people are out here looking like me. Every time I go out in public, people look at me like I'm a fucking unicorn. So, not as often as you would think, but it does happen. You know, you'll get, like, a perfectly nice, polished-looking family, and then there's, like, that one kid with, like, her greasy hair in her face and her MCR hoodie, and I'm like, I got you. I know exactly what you're looking for. This next question is a fun one. What is the weirdest thing you've seen working at Hot Topic? I heard people get crazy there. And, you know, in my years, I've seen some shit. I'll just tell you a couple of my favorites. So there was one time that I was just walking out of the back room, and as I was coming out of the back room, I'm here, and then we have this area here close to the clearance. So I'm just casually walking past, and I look over, and I see out my side eye here, there's this lady, obviously a crackhead, because there's a million of them around here, but this lady is sitting in the floor. She has a Crown Royal bag full of, like, random rocks. Like, not even crystals. She wasn't trying to do any of, like, good vibes, whatever. She had a bag of rocks, and she just had them spread out in this area, sitting Indian style in the floor, and she was muttering to herself, like picking up the rocks, and I didn't know what that was about. But after she was done talking to her rocks, we caught her trying to, we had like this like these bath salts things in like these little bottles, and we caught her trying to open the bottles and dump the contents of the bath salts into her Crown Royal bag. Like, she didn't even try to just steal the whole, she was trying to open it and dump it in the bag. We get a lot of that every day. I don't work in the best area. A lot of people are scared to come to our mall. I don't think it's that bad, but I grew up with it, so maybe to me it's just not that bad because I'm used to it. Whereas a lot of people that don't live in the area, they don't really have any idea. Another thing is, one time a lady came in and she had her child in the stroller, and I get that the store's kind of packed. We're 100% ADA compliant now, so there's plenty of space, but before the store everything was kind of packed closely, but that's just how most stores in the mall are. There's only so much room. I guess she had trouble pushing her stroller through the store, so her solution was to leave the stroller in the middle of the store with the child in it while she walked around and shopped. So basically, I was like babysitting her child the whole time she was shopping. And I'd say that's pretty fucking weird, because don't you want to keep your kid with you? Like, this is not a safe place. Somebody's gonna snatch that baby. Like, I don't... So that was pretty strange. I'm sure I have a million stories that would be much weirder, but I can't think of anything because, you know, you try to answer it on the spot. But it's just, literally, there's so many things every day that it's just... It's just an average Tuesday at this point. There's really nothing shocks me anymore. A friend of mine who used to work at my store a really long time ago asked if the toilet in the back is still terrible, and yes it is. The lines get backed up all the time. Has nothing to do with us or our toilet, it's just the mall is bad. So sometimes it doesn't like to flush, so if you really gotta take a shit, you really have to weigh your pros and cons there. Like, is it worth it to just go upstairs and use the mall bathroom? Because you risk it not flushing, and nobody wants that. So, someone asked, do you think Hot Topic should bring back the old style, or do you like the new one? And this is one of the things that kind of goes with other things that I could rant about all day. But the thing about Hot Topic is there is no old style Hot Topic or a new style Hot Topic. Because if you look into the history of what Hot Topic is, it's been around since, what, 89? It's always been a popular culture store. It's always been very, whatever the new rebellious thing is. There's never been any set rhyme or reason to the store. It just always was changing. And so, of course, if you've lived through all those stages, you've been around long enough to see things like go away and then come back later. Right now, one of our big sellers is SpongeBob. We all have a whole SpongeBob section in our stores. And the first time Hot Topic started selling SpongeBob, I think, was in, like, somewhere in the early 90s when SpongeBob first came out. Things like that always come back around. So you walk in and you see things that are new to you. They weren't there in 2012, but... you know, your mom will come in and remember, oh, I remember when they sold these back in 1993. There's really no... the store's always changing and evolving, and things always come back around. So, at the end of the day, Hot Topic's always been Hot Topic. A lot of the things that you guys consider to be classic are still sold on the website. We still have, like, tons of trip pants and stuff. I look into ordering them all the time. There's a lot of things that you would like on there. A friend of mine who was my boss before I got my new store manager, she worked at Hot Topic a long time ago. Like, before she came back as a store manager, she was an assistant manager. And she said that even back there, and it was like 8-9 years ago, people still came in and they had to complain of, oh, this place used to be
so much cooler, it used to be so much better.
But Hot Topic is a very, like, new generation based store. So what's cool to me when I was in high school, like, the Hot Topic I loved was, like, 2008 to, like, 2013. You know, that Hot Topic, all that stuff is cool to me, but it's not cool to, you know, Emily, who's only 14, that wants her freaking 21 Pilot shirt. Like, she doesn't care about all my Emo and Fred and Shane Dawson. Well, she might care about Shane Dawson now. You remember when they sold Shane Dawson shirts? It was a long time ago. Some of you are young enough that you don't even remember them selling Shane Dawson shirts because you was a child.
Wow, okay, boomer.
So I guess to sum up, I just love Hot Topic. I don't care what they're selling. I'm always going to find a way to work with what I got. I got a t-shirt today that was very, like, classic Hot Topic, in my opinion. And things like this little guy, I bought him recently. I'm like, this is very, like, 2010, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff is still around. It's not going to go anywhere. My next question is, what is the oldest item in your store? And I love this question because there are 3 items, 3 that are ancient relics in my store, and I am going to own all of them probably when I go back to work this week, because some of them are a little pricey and some of them are impossible to ring up because they're so old. So the 3 things. The first one is there is a, if you work for the company, it's a Department 9 Forever the Sickest Kids t-shirt. It's bright yellow. It's so old that the SKU on it isn't even valid or in our new register system. We have to use what's called a dummy SKU, and it doesn't even apply properly for whatever reason. There's no other way to ring the shirt up, so it can't even be sold. It's just been in our store year after year through inventory. Just assuming the popularity peak of Forever the Sickest Kids, that shirt has to be at least 10 years old. At least 10 years old. The other 2 things are together because they are on my juniors size wall. They're in the very bottom baskets all the way over to the right. And one is a turquoise size 3X Lovesick brand t-shirt. It's turquoise, it just says Lovesick, and if you remember, Lovesick was the Hot Topic brand before it changed over to Blackheart, so that shirt is probably at least, I'd say at least 6, 7, 8 years old, somewhere in there. The other one is a t-shirt that has to be at least, again, 8 to 10 years old. It is a black t-shirt. It has kind of like a doodle looking T-Rex on it, kind of like the plush I just showed you, but it's like a doodle, and it says, "That's Beast." So if you remember when it was cool to say something was Beast, I think I was in high school, so that shows you how old that shirt is. So I guess none of those are astronomically old, but at least that one shirt has to be 9, 10 years old. Easy. But since they're old, they're very, like, vintage to me, so I have to own them. Nobody's ever gonna buy them. Nobody cares. It looks all really cringy and lame to the teens that come in the store now, so I'm not worried about it. I know they'll be there whenever I'm ready to buy them. The Lovesick t-shirt I haven't bought just because, for some reason, it's incredibly expensive. Like, a couple of these shirts, I don't know how. I don't know if it's just because they're so old the company never thought about it, because maybe they sold, like, when they were relevant, but these shirts never went to clearance. I have shirts that they're pretty old. They were, like, kind of old when I started. I've been there almost 3 years. But all those shirts have survived, like, multiple markdowns. Like, they got marked down, they got further marked down, so we have shirts that when I started, they were full price, now they're $4.99. You would think some of those super old shirts would have caught a markdown at least once, but no, for some reason they're still full price and they're in the store ready for me to buy. Someone asked, what's it like working there, and also do you see a lot of emo kids? I'm going to do a little overall what it's like at the end, so to answer, do I see a lot of emo kids? Kinda, in a way. New generation's emo is a little bit different. You have a lot of, like, the very SoundCloud emo, things like that. And then you have a few kids that, like, they have access to the internet, so they see, like, my generation's emo, so they kind of go along with that. Mostly with that, it's just a kid that is young, their parents won't let them dye their hair, and they have, like, an MCR hoodie, you know? Like, they want to, they just can't. So, I guess, yeah, you get some emos, but emo's just different now. I don't get anybody that looks like me in the store, if that's what you're going for. Someone said, favorite t-shirt there. And I will actually show you, because I have it right here. There is no rhyme or reason as to why this is my favorite shirt. It just is. It's a very simple Pierce the Veil. That on the back. Absolutely not a damn thing special about it. I have so many good Pierce the Veil t-shirts. I have so many good shirts with, like, intricate designs. But for some reason, the shirt is my absolute favorite shirt, and there's no reason for it. My next would be my Lil Peep shirt, which I don't have the shirt with me. I think it's missing. It's probably somewhere in my laundry, but I can show you the jacket I made with the shirt. This is my favorite denim jacket. It's gross. I never wash it, but when we got the Lil Peep shirts in, I was so excited that I bought one, and then I bought a second one, And I just cut the design out and pinned it on the back of this jacket. So now I have this, like, whenever I want to wear this jacket. And I love that a lot. I think they did a good job with this shirt. It's, like, gorgeous. So I love that. Next up, someone self-promoted, and I just want to say, like, I feel like it's kind of rude if, like, I'm trying to get something for me and you're like, hey, listen to my music, or hey, like, shout out for shout out, or hey, do this. And I'm like, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to. Like, I don't do that on your thing. I don't want to be mean, but it's just, I feel like it's kind of rude. So it's like when you, like, post a picture you're really proud of, and then someone posts a selfie underneath and they're like, oh, look at me, I'm so ugly, just looking for attention. Like, get attention on your own post. Don't come to my thing. Like, you can do this yourself. Maybe if you, like, privately message me and said, hey, I'd like to know how you feel about my song, I'll listen to it. I will. I'm a cool person. Like, a lot of you guys are talented. I'm interested in hearing what you do, but don't get in my polls and my question stickers and be like, hey, have you ever stolen anything? No. No, I have not. I value my job. I hate shoplifters. And if you come into my store and I catch you shoplifting, I remember who you are, and I'll make sure you never come back. So don't be doing that. Who's the craziest customer you've ever had? All of them. They're all nuts. I have one woman who's fantastic and always comes in and drops like $300. That's pretty crazy to me. I have people that yell at me for no reason. I have kids that come in the store that I feel so bad for them because their moms are so terrible, and they're always like, no, I don't like that, so you can't have it. You put that back. I don't like that. Or, no, I don't like that band. You can't have that. Or, okay, yeah, these teas are $6, but I'm not digging through that box, so you'll just have to go without. Like, just fucking let your kid, like, be themselves. They don't have to quit projecting and living vicariously through your children. I think I kind of answered this earlier, but how many OG emo or scene kids do you see a day? Absolutely zero. But I don't think that has anything to do with trends now or Hot Topic in general and how it's changed. But I think that just has to do with the area I live in our demographic. There was never a lot of those when it was relevant to begin with, because I live in West Virginia. It's a very, like, most parts of it are very country. I live in the city, so I'm better off. So if there's, like, any type of diversity, it's in my general area, you know. So I think that's really just a demographic thing. I imagine if I lived in, like, a bigger city somewhere, then maybe I'd at least have a handful. But where I am, it's just, I'm it. They have me, that's it. Do you have Marilyn Manson t-shirts? Yes, we do. It's Hot Topic. Do customers ever judge your style? Probably, yeah. I get some kids that come in, like, it'll be a group of, like, teenage boys and, like, the one girl out of the group that thinks she's hot shit, you know? And, they'll try to, like, take pictures with me and be like, oh, I think you're really cute, let me get a picture. And I know you're just trying to make fun of me, so I'm like, whatever, like, at least tag me in your story while you're making fun of me so I can, like, use it for clout. These kids just don't understand. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I'm 24, you know, I've paid my dues. I've been made fun of all my life. I've always looked different no matter what it is. I've pretty much always looked this way. So, I've just really, nothing gets to me anymore. There's nothing you can make fun of me for or say that I haven't already heard. Just, if you're going to try to insult me, at least be creative, you know? Don't make fun of my hair or my teeth or, like, my makeup. Like, there's no, move on, dig deeper, like, get to my soul, make me hurt. The bad interactions I have, though, just really, they don't bother me because 99% of what I get is absolutely positive feedback. So that makes me feel really good. For every person that's out there trying to take a picture to laugh, like, I know that there's a million people that would kill to have the guts to look like me. 99% of the guys that try to make fun of how I look, they're going home and, you know, getting on Pornhub and searching for girls that look exactly like me. So I just know it's a lot of insecurity out there. I feel like making fun of someone's appearance is the lowest low. So again, get creative. Don't jump to appearance because there's nothing funny about that. You're not clever or original. A bot says hi. Hi, bot. What kind of comments do you get from customers, if any? Mainly, I like your hair. Did that piercing hurt? Talking about my smiley. Are those tattoos? No, it's just an eyeliner stamp. It's by Milk Makeup. You can get it down at Sephora. It's $12. They're 2 doors down. Stuff like that. How do you get those lashes on? Where did you get your pants, shirt, belt, whatever I'm wearing? Look around you. You know where I got it. Do I shop anywhere else? No. The number one comment that I get that absolutely grinds my gears in the worst possible way is that a wig? Is that your real hair? You're wearing a wig, right? I'm like, that is so rude, okay? It's not like I'm trying to hide the fact that I wear wigs. Everyone knows I wear wigs. I have a freaking wig tutorial up on my channel. I have a different color hair every day, so these security guards should know by now. But just imagine having the audacity to look at somebody and be like, is that your hair? Like, what? It's not like I'll look at you, I'm like, Becky, is that your leg or is it fake? Like, what prompts you to make that kind of comment? Your hair, it's my hair, I paid for it. I worked hard for this hair. This is good hair. Do you have a problem? Are we done here? Even if you can, I can clock a wig like that. I've been wearing wigs for years. The nicest Jeffree Star, Kim Kardashian, doesn't matter. I can clock a wig. So if I see someone and I really like their wig, I don't say, hey, I like your wig. I say, hey girl, I like your hair. And they're like, thank you, I like yours too. And it's kind of like a little, we both know, we can see it on each other, but we're not going to put that out there because what happens the second someone's uncomfortable? I could be dealing with any sort of hair loss, illness, like, you never know. So I'm like, would you go up, do you go into like the cancer unit and you're like, is that your hair? That's fucking rude. Don't do that. If you're not sure, if you are sure, doesn't matter. Just don't mention it because especially, you never know. Like, that's rude. My next question is, who's your favorite boss? And this one I will say, that came from my DM. She's absolutely awesome. She's so supportive. She really strives to make us do better in the company. She doesn't make everything negative, like sometimes I felt like our old DM did. But she's great. She, even if we have a day that sucks, she'll still send a positive comment like, good job on doing this. And like, kind of makes you be like, okay, I want to impress her. I want to do better because she still believes in me, even though I'm garbage. She's awesome. Love her twice. This has nothing to do with Hot Topic. Are you a fan of Bring Me the Horizon? Yes, they're one of my favorite bands, and no, I'm not going to listen to your cover if you keep plugging it in my story. Rude. Bot told me hi again. Hi, Bot. I see you. Are customers usually nice? Usually. I think I kind of touched base on this already, but generally, not everyone's a complete asshole. There's some good ones. Most people are just, especially in the area where I am, they're indifferent. Like, they're very, true neutral. They don't really care about you either way. They'll be cool to you, you're cool to them, and then they just kind of want to, like, get their shit and get out. They're not there to make friends. What makes you prefer Hot Topic? Prefer it over what? I mean, I think it's cool. Before I worked at Hot Topic, I was a manager at a local Domino's, and it's pretty much the busiest one around where I live. And that was not fun because we were always understaffed. It was very high stressed. I worked really long hours. I worked like 60 hours a week. I was always on overtime. I made a shit ton of money, but I never had time to spend it. And I always smelled like pizza. No matter how much soap, fabric softener, doesn't matter what I used or clothes, you're still going to smell like pizza. There's nothing you can do about it. Hot Topic's cool because at least as far as companies go, I mean, obviously they want to make their money, but at the same time they care. Like, every now and then they'll send out little surveys like, hey, you feeling alright about your job? Do you think we're being fair about this? I mean, is there any reason, like, you're mad at us? Like, you can let me know. And I'm like, no, we're good, thanks for asking. They do a lot of advocacy for, like, mental health and things like that. So it's really nice working for a company that, like, knows you're an individual as opposed to just being a slave like I was at McDonald's and Wendy's. And I feel like retail is always better than fast food, but I feel like I would not even want to bother with retail if it wasn't for Hot Topic. What is the funniest thing that ever happened to you at work? Okay, so I have 2 stories for this. These are just my favorite instances that let you know a little bit about who I am as a person. They're not really, like, super funny things, because, I don't know, everything's kind of funny if you can find humor in everything. But it was really dead, and we had one customer in the back of the store in the clearance, and I'm standing in the cash wrap here, and then my boss is looking at her phone, and then another guy that worked there, he's like over on the pop wall fixing those, and you know, it's completely dead. We only have the one customer, and he's a regular, so like we can all like goof off and like make jokes with him and stuff. Like, he's cool, he's used to us. So we're sitting there, and my boss is reading a story about anacondas and swallowing people whole, and you know, I am marrying a guy that has like extensive knowledge on every reptile ever created. He can tell you the scientific name and like how to breed it, and like he's crazy. So he knows all that stuff. So I was telling her that no matter the size of the snake, it is very unlikely that is going to be capable of swallowing an entire adult human being. And then she goes on to talk about, because she was a tiny thing, you know, she's like 4'10", like 90 pounds soaking wet. So, I mean, she's small, and she always complains about how, like, I ain't got no ass, I ain't got no hips, you know, because she's teeny little petite thing. So she's going on about that, and she was like, well, you know, it swallow me, honey, because, you know, I don't got no hips or nothing, like, there's nothing stopping it, just going on and on, you know. And I was like, well, you know, in that case, you should know you're safe. And she's like, why? What do you mean? And I'm like, because everybody knows that anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun. It was really dumb, bad pun, but I saw the opportunity and I took it, and I swear to God, the guy that was behind me, I heard him audibly sigh. Like, he was just like, like, this bitch, I'm so sick of this bullshit. So I just thought it was funny that everyone's so sick of my shit. Another thing I thought was funny, just because I think I'm funny, nobody else thinks I'm funny, apparently. Except this one person, because the other day, it's pretty busy. I'm in there, and I'm folding shirts and stuff. And the Black Parade by MCR came on, and just without thinking, I yelled out, hey, could everybody please be quiet? Can we have a moment of silence? Our national anthem is playing. And everybody got quiet for a second and looked at me, and then they all just like went back to what they were doing. So I made my boss turn it up, because, you know, I was being dead serious. Like, this is Hot Topic. This is our freaking national anthem. And I didn't think anybody cared or appreciated me or even knew, like, what I was getting at. But I got on Facebook tonight, and my friend tagged me in a status that a woman shared telling that story. Like, I just got to tell you guys this story about what happened at Hot Topic today. And she was like, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, actually, that's me. Like, okay, cool. Like, my joke is going viral. I can't wait for people to, like, steal that and put it as a tweet. If you see that, that was me that said it, and I thought it was funny. Nobody else thought it was funny, but I'm glad she found it funny. So, if you see this, shout out to you. Thank you. I feel appreciated. Did you ever shop at Hot Topic when you were younger? If so, has it changed for better or for worse? I hate to keep beating a dead horse when... Sorry for the lack of terminology. Going over this whole old Hot Topic versus new Hot Topic, and I think the changes are always for the better, because you want to keep up with the new generation and keep people coming in, and you want to adapt. You don't want to just keep selling the same shit for 40 years, because nobody is going to buy it, you know. Like, these kids don't care about Asking Alexandria and Trip, you know. Like, they want their Riverdale and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I am an adult and I have bills to pay. So if it's 21 Pilots and Stranger Things that's giving me a paycheck, I'm fine with that. I don't know a single thing about it, but go on and sell it, because I know it sells like crazy and it's bringing people in and it's making me look really good. So I think new is always better. Now, I struggle because, like, things I like to wear and stuff, I generally have to shop on our website for it, which isn't a big deal. As much as I would like my Hot Topic stuff to come back, you know, it may not. It's whatever. I'm just kind of going with the flow of it. As long as I have a job, I don't give two shits what we sell. I just want to keep working there. And my final question I get all the time is it fun to work there? Oh, I bet you have so much fun working here. And I just want to let you guys know, okay, yes. As far as having a job goes, it is the best job I could possibly think of. I do have fun with my coworkers. I enjoy what I do. I like my customers for the most part. I enjoy being able to wear whatever I want to work. I can, like, do my hair however I want. I don't have to worry about any of my tattoos or my piercings. It's like you really get freedom of expression in the store. And so that really does make it a lot more enjoyable, especially when we play like music that I like to hear and things like that. It overall gives it a more fun atmosphere. But at the same time, like I said, I am an assistant manager. I have a heavy workload a good part of the time. I have a lot of things to worry about. I get very stressed out. And at the end of the day, it's a job, you know. A lot of people, I have trouble, especially when I'm doing interviews and hiring people for seasonal and things like that, because they think we're just in there having like a big old party all the time, and they don't realize that it's actually work, and there's a lot of work to do. So they think they're about to get paid to stand around and like hang out and smoke pot in the back room. I don't know what they think we do, but that ain't it. It's still a job. I take it very seriously. So as much as I like to have fun at work and, you know, create a fun environment for my sales associates and my managers and such, it's work is work. So it's fun for a job, but it's still a job. If you plan on applying at Hot Topic, or you think that you might get a job there because you had a recent interview, just know that you need to have a drive and a work ethic, because Hot Topic has a lot of goals and they're very important. And you're not going to achieve those goals if you're just like standing around on Snapchat all day, you know. So at the end of the day, a job is a job, but I love my job and I honestly wouldn't give it up for the world. I know there's a lot of videos floating around out there about like, oh, I quit my Hot Topic job because of XYZ, and I'm going to let you know that there's a reason for that. If you don't get hours, not only does that have to do with things like what's available depending on your position, because malls are dying in America, that's a thing. Our website's getting more traffic than we are, you know, that's just how people do it now. But sometimes you gotta think, maybe it was you, honey, because I slack every now and then, but I've still managed to get 2 promotions since I started, so maybe it's time to reevaluate yourself. Okay, that's it, guys. I think I covered pretty much anything. If you ever have any more questions, if you want me to make like a follow-up video to this in the future with like more questions that I get, I'm always open. Comments, Instagram, whatever you got. If you just happen to stumble upon this video and you want to follow me on social media, my main one is just Instagram. I don't know what my handle is exactly, but if you just type in cokeandredrum.com into your browser, it'll take you right there. You can follow that way. And I guess that's it. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the questions. I had a lot of fun answering these. It was fun to like think about and reminisce over all I've done over the years, and I have a ton of stuff planned for 2020. I'm going to my friend's house tomorrow. We're going to film videos pretty much all night, all day the next day. So hopefully they just get less and less shitty as we go on, because a lot of you don't know this, but I am a YouTube veteran. I've been on YouTube since the dawn of YouTube, since I was allowed to have my first digital camera. I never stick with it. I always quit because the trolls get to me, but you know what? It doesn't really bother me. So I'm like, I guess give me your worst. Because at least if I get any hate comments, that'll make for a good reading hate comments video, because I love watching those. So I hope I get to make one of those one day. That's it, guys. Thank you. Bye!